All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going deep into the world of time travel.
Time travel, huh?
Mm,
Always a fun one.
it is. But we're taking a unique approach with this one. Our source material is actually a YouTube video.
Oh, YouTube. Interesting. What kind of video? Some kind of documentary?
Not quite, it's a guided hypnosis session.
Hypnosis. Okay, this I gotta hear.
Yeah, the subject is being hypnotized to explore the possibility of time travel.
Pretty wild, right?
Definitely a different perspective. So, are we going to uncover some hypnotic truths about time travel?
That's what we're here to find out. I mean,
Yeah.
using hypnosis to explore time travel, it's not exactly your typical scientific approach, but that's what makes it so interesting to me. It's like, could time travel be more than just something you see in movies?
Right, exactly. More than just science fiction.
Exactly. So let's dive in. The video starts with the hypnotized subject confirming that time travelers actually exist.
Wow, right off the bat, that's a bold statement.
Yeah, and they even have a special name. Get this. Chrononauts. Chrononauts. I like it. Sounds very official.
Right, it makes it sound like it's a real profession, like astronaut, but through time. And the subject even describes them wearing special suits.
Special suits. Okay, now that's getting interesting. What do you think that's all about?
I don't know, it makes me think that it's not just some accidental thing. Like, they're prepared, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, if you're wearing a specialized suit for time travel, you're not just randomly slipping through time. It's deliberate.
Exactly. It's not like you're, suddenly in the Middle Ages wearing your pajamas. But here's where it gets really wild. The source suggests that how we understand time, past, present, future, it's all just how we perceive it here on Earth.
Hmm. Okay, I'm following.
Outside of Earth, it's like time is omnipresent.
Omnipresent. So, like, it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah, like you'd exist in all points of time simultaneously. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's a massive shift from our usual way of thinking about time. It's linear for us, right? Past, present, future. But this idea of time as being relative, not fixed, actually, it lines up with some pretty complex physics theories, you know?
Like what?
Well, like Einstein's theory of relativity. It shows how things like gravity can actually warp time. So maybe outside of Earth's gravity, our perception of time would be completely different.
So it's like we're stuck in a time box here on Earth, kind
In
of.
a way, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And then the source goes on to mention different types of time travel, like there's spontaneous time travel, which happens through deep meditation.
Spontaneously, you just poof, end up somewhere else in time.
Yeah, sounds pretty random. And then there's the intentional directed type of travel.
Like planning a trip, but instead of a different location, it's a different time.
Exactly. Makes you wonder if time travel agencies will be a thing in the future, right?
I'd sign up for that.
Hmm.
But this spontaneous travel thing, that's fascinating. It implies that maybe we all have some innate ability to experience time differently, an ability that we've maybe lost touch with.
Like we traded in our time travel skills for smartphones and Netflix. Speaking of ancient times, the source says that time travel isn't some new thing.
I was just thinking that.
It claims that time travel has been happening throughout history. Like ancient civilizations like Egypt, Greece, India, China, they were all supposedly engaging in some form of time travel.
You know, it makes you think about all those ancient stories, myths, and legends. What if those weren't just stories, but actual accounts of time travel that, we just don't understand anymore?
That's a really interesting point. Like we've lost the knowledge, the key to understanding those stories. Makes you wonder what they knew that we've forgotten, right?
Absolutely. It's like we've lost a piece of the puzzle.
But let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. How is this time travel actually done, according to the source?
Well, they talk about a few methods. Hypnosis, which we already touched on, meditation, advanced technology. Oh, and get this, portals.
Portals, like those things you see in sci-fi movies.
Yep, exactly like that. They describe them as physical gateways. Some are fixed in a specific location, while others can move around. They're supposedly hidden in various places like ancient tunnels, cathedrals, even forests.
Whoa, hold on, I have to share this. It says here that there's a scientist who uses these portals to commute home from work. Can you imagine? Just popping through a time portal to avoid traffic?
That's amazing. It's such a mind-boggling concept, but to use it for something as mundane as commuting, it's almost funny, right?
It is. Makes you wonder if for some people, time travel is just an everyday thing.
Maybe it's like taking the subway for them.
Right. So we've talked about the how, but what about the why? Why are people traveling through time?
The source gives us a few different motives. Some travel for research. Like, imagine being able to go back and observe historical events firsthand. Others are trying to correct what they see as historical inaccuracies.
Like time-traveling fact-checkers.
Exactly. And then there's the time travel tourism aspect. Want to see the pyramids being built, witness a gladiator fight in Rome. Time travel could make it possible.
It would revolutionize the travel industry, that's for sure. The source even mentions people who want to go back and change past events, like prevent accidents or tragedies from happening.
Now that brings up some serious ethical questions, doesn't it? If we could alter the past, what kind of impact would that have?
It's the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah.
Even a small change could have huge consequences down the line.
Exactly. It's a lot of responsibility to mess with the timeline. And the source even shares a story about a time traveler who stopped a rock slide that would have caused a major accident.
To everyone else, it would seem like a miracle, right?
Exactly. Some seemingly random event might actually be the work of a time traveler behind the scenes. The source also touches on something even more mind-boggling, the idea of time travelers encountering their past or future selves.
Whoa, can you imagine running into a younger or older version of yourself? What would you even talk about?
I don't know, it just really messes with your head when you think about it. It really makes you think about the nature of time and consciousness.
Definitely. And it's not all just exciting adventures and mind-blowing encounters. The source also describes some pretty intense physical effects of time travel, like electric shocks, tremors when a traveler materializes.
No, which that doesn't sound pleasant.
And apparently, traveling to the future causes accelerated aging and dehydration.
So there's a physical toll to time travel. It's not just sightseeing and rewriting history.
It makes it all seem a lot more real, a lot more intense, like there are consequences to messing with time.
Absolutely. And here's where things get a little, well, unsettling. The source claims that time travel technology, especially these portals, is mostly controlled by powerful groups like the military, governments, elite families.
Makes you wonder what they're using it for, right? Are they shaping events behind the scenes?
That's the big question, isn't it? The source even mentions special codes to activate certain portals. And if you try to use them without authorization, well, they say there are serious consequences.
Like what?
Capture, imprisonment. They even mention death.
Wow, it's like a secret world of time travel only accessible to a select few. But what about people who stumble upon these portals accidentally?
That's a really interesting thought.
The source hints at that happening. People finding forgotten portals and ending up in who knows what time period.
Imagine that, exploring some remote area and boom, you're suddenly face to face with, well, who knows what.
It definitely adds an element of mystery and maybe even danger to the idea of time travel.
For sure. So where do we go from here? What
Yeah.
other secrets does this hypnosis session hold? I'm hooked.
We'll be right back after a quick break, and we're going to explore even more of the wild world of time travel.
So before the break, we were talking about those accidental time travelers, people stumbling into portals.
Right, finding themselves in some unknown time. Kind of a scary thought, but it's a good lead-in to our next point. Time travel isn't all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Definitely not. It's not just sipping cocktails with Cleopatra or checking out futuristic tech. There are risks.
Big time. And the source, it really drives this home. They talk about these potential dangers. Like, okay, picture this. A time traveler materializing right inside an erupting volcano.
Okay, that's a hard pass for me. Not exactly the kind of time travel adventure I'm looking for.
No kidding. But there's this other detail, and it stuck with me. It's the idea that even if a time traveler, if their physical body gets destroyed during some mishap, their consciousness, it might continue.
Whoa, so it's like even if their body dies, their mind, their essence keeps going. That's heavy.
It is. It makes you wonder if there's a spiritual side to time travel. Like maybe our consciousness can exist outside of our bodies, and time travel is a way to tap into that.
It's almost like time travel isn't just about the physical journey through time, but it's a journey of the soul or consciousness too.
I like that. A journey of the soul. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Definitely does. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of time travel, all the possibilities, but we have to remember, we're exploring these ideas based on a hypnosis session.
Right. We should take it all with a grain of salt.
Exactly. But even so, it's fascinating to consider. And the source, they throw in another twist. They suggest that not all time travelers are from Earth's future.
Wait, what? So who else is out there traveling through time?
Well, the source focuses mainly on human time travelers, but it opens the door to, well, encounters with beings from other civilizations, maybe even other dimensions.
Okay, now we're talking aliens. Interdimensional beings. Sign me up.
Right. Imagine beings who have mastered time travel in ways we can't even fathom. The source doesn't delve too deep into this, but it's a tantalizing possibility.
It is. It's like time travel could connect us not only to different points in history, but to different worlds entirely. It really expands the scope of what's possible.
It makes you wonder if we're just scratching the surface of understanding time travel and its implications.
It makes the universe feel a lot bigger, a lot more mysterious, too, knowing there could be all these other beings out there zipping through time.
Exactly. It's exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time. But let's bring it back to Earth for a moment. I mean, one thing that stood out to me from the source was how they described the physical sensations of time travel. Remember, electric shocks, tremors, even dehydration when traveling to the future. It doesn't sound like a walk in the park.
No, it doesn't. It kind of makes you rethink that whole time travel tourism thing.
Right. It's like, sign me up to see the dinosaurs, but hold the electric shocks and dehydration, please.
Exactly. It also makes me think about the potential consequences of, altering the past, that butterfly effect thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's huge. Even a small change could ripple through time and have unintended consequences. Imagine changing something significant in the past, a major historical event.
We could end up living in a completely different world. And then there's that whole concept of time travelers encountering their past or future selves. The source presents it as a real possibility, and it just messes with your head.
It does. I mean, imagine meeting a future version of yourself. Would you be tempted to ask about the choices you're facing now? But what if their answers, or even their presence, influenced your decisions? It's a paradox.
Right, like who's influencing whom? It's like a time travel chicken or egg situation. But these are the kind of questions that make time travel so fascinating. And this source, even though it's based on hypnosis, it really digs into these mind-bending possibilities.
It does. It makes you question our whole understanding of reality, our place in the universe, and the nature of time itself. What if everything we think we know about time is wrong?
Mind blown. And we're not done yet. When we come back, we'll explore even more mind-blowing concepts from the source, like whether time travel might be more common than we think, and the potential connection between time travel and extraterrestrial life. Don't go anywhere. And we're back, still diving deep into the world of time travel. Before the break, we were talking about the possibility of, time travelers from other worlds, not just from our future.
Right. It's a wild concept. Makes you realize just how limited our perspective might be.
Yeah, like we're so focused on human time travelers, but what if there are all these other beings out there zipping through time?
And doing it in ways we can't even comprehend. I mean, the source material really opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it?
It does. It's like suddenly the universe feels so much bigger, so much more mysterious.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it begs the question, what else don't we know?
Mm-hmm.
What else is out there?
So many questions. But for now, let's stick with what we've got. The source material, the hypnosis session, it provides some pretty interesting details about time travel. Like, remember how they described those physical sensations?
Oh, yeah. The electric shocks, tremors, even dehydration when traveling to the future.
It doesn't exactly sound like a pleasant experience.
No, not at all. It kind of makes you wonder, is it all worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, to experience all this amazing stuff, but go through all that physical discomfort.
I know, right? Like, sign me up to see the pyramids being built, but maybe hold the electric shocks, please. It really makes you think about the potential risks and, the unknown consequences of messing with time.
Absolutely. It's not all fun and games.
But that's kind of what makes it so compelling, isn't it? This mystery, this danger. And that final thought that the source leaves us with, it's pretty mind-blowing. What if time travel is happening all around us right now and we just don't realize it?
It's a big question, isn't it? Are we just missing the signs? Are we attributing things to coincidence or, the natural order of things when maybe it's something else entirely?
Exactly. It's like, what if everything we think we know about time is wrong? What if our perception of reality is completely skewed?
It makes you look at the world a little differently, doesn't it? Like the next time you see something unexplained, a historical anomaly, maybe a chance encounter, you might think, wait a minute, could this be the work of a time traveler?
That's the question we want to leave our listeners with today. Is time travel happening all around us? Are we just blind to it? It's something to think about.
Huh?
Anyway, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
It really does. But seriously, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the possibility of chrononauts and portals to the potential risks and mind-bending implications of time travel. It's been a wild ride, and we hope you enjoyed it.
We did. It's always a pleasure to delve into these mysteries and explore the unknown.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through time, and who knows, maybe we'll bump into each other in another time, another dimension. Until then, keep an open mind, question everything, and stay curious.
And maybe keep an eye out for those portals. You never know where they might lead.